Okay. Um, all right, so let's jump in. So if you all, Mr. Malone. Jump in then. All right, so this is the Spalding County State Court. My name is Josh Thacker. I'm your judge, and this is the bonded trials final calendar call. I want to start out by saying that here in the Spalding County State Court, we believe that each of you, as you interact with this court, deserve the respect and the dignity that you would wish for someone you care about. We will extend that to each and every one of you as we interact with you all here today. Hey, please don't talk during court. Our goal is to return you back to your lives as quick as we can. And frankly, if you have sidebar conversations, I won't be able to do that, and I won't have much patience with it. All right, I don't have anybody virtual, although I was expecting one for a plea. We'll see when they show up. Okay, cell phones. So everybody, right now, reach into your pockets and purses, pull out your phones from wherever you've stashed them, and shut them off. So if they ring after this moment, it means you ignored my instructions to shut them off, and that you'd like to have a contempt hearing, which is, frankly, not in your best interest. So, all right. So this is the correct courtroom for you. If you were arrested on a misdemeanor here in Spalding County, you appeared or waived your arraignment date, and then you came for calendar call 2 weeks ago. You or your attorney requested a trial, and if what I'm saying doesn't sound right, you can step out in the hallway, show your paperwork to the bailiff, and they'll move you in the right direction. Today is what's called your final calendar call. I'm going to go over your rights with you. I'm going to tell you what your options are, and then you or your attorney is going to give me a final confirmation of what to do with your case. Now, each of you have already selected one type of trial. Remember, there's two. There's a jury trial. That's where 6 jurors issue a verdict from that box over there to your left. And then there's a bench trial where I issue the verdict, or the court issues a verdict. It's Judge Esri and I will be running 2 courtrooms today with no jury present. Now, at this final calendar call, here's your options. You may ask for a conference with the solicitor's office. They are under no obligation to speak with you, and so they will only meet with you if they are willing or interested. You can ask me about an attorney, and we can have that discussion. And you have another option that we've not discussed before, which is called a non-negotiated plea. We often call this a blind plea. And for many of you, you've never heard this term before. So how does it work? It's where you are in negotiations with the state to resolve your case, but you're unsatisfied with the recommendation that the solicitor's office is making. But on the other hand, you don't want to go to trial. You just want to resolve your case, and you don't like those terms. If you choose to, you may enter what's called a non-negotiated plea. Again, we call this a blind plea. And it's where you admit guilt to the charges, and then I decide the sentence without a recommendation. And I will add that whatever decision I make on the sentence, that is final. All right. So if you requested a jury trial last time, which several of you did, and now you wish to have a bench trial, that's perfectly fine. You just announce bench trial when your name is called. I have no preference in that choice. Just want to let you know that option is available, but you may not change from a bench trial to a jury trial. Ms. Karen is here, and actually Judge Essery is here with our Veterans and Mental Health Court. So if you are realizing that you are interested in this, you need to be either a member of our military veteran, or you have a mental health diagnosis and you want your case dismissed. Again, if you're representing yourself, you can talk to the solicitor. You can talk to Ms. Karen over here in the jury box. You can even maybe speak with Judge Essery. If you have an attorney, simply speak with your attorneys. They're very familiar with our program and can answer any questions you have about it. All right, everybody's charges here in the courtroom are misdemeanors. Average misdemeanor carries a maximum punishment of 12 months to serve in the Spalding County Jail and or a $1,000 fine. A few minor traffic charges like seatbelt have a lower maximum fine, and a few high and aggravated misdemeanors have up to a $5,000 maximum fine. Everybody here has the right to a speedy and public jury trial. Again, that's where 6 citizens of Spalding County decide guilt or innocence on each of your charges. You may choose a bench trial. That's where you give the court the right to make the decision with no jury present. You can waive your right to a trial and close your case with a plea if you so choose. I have no preference. You must knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently choose for yourself. Now, all of you here have the right to be presumed innocent, the right to force the state to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, the right to cross-examine the state's witnesses, to subpoena your own witnesses and evidence to court. You have the right to testify or not testify, to not incriminate yourself, and if you choose to remain silent, I will not allow that silence to be held against you. You have the right to have an attorney. You may hire your own attorney here, and there's some private attorneys here you could talk to. However, if you did not apply at your calendar call, or did not ask me to talk about applying with the public defender's office at your calendar call, then you very likely waived it. But if you want to have that conversation, we still can. All right, an attorney would help you understand our criminal justice system, would explain what your charges are and what the defenses are to those charges, file motions on your behalf, engage in plea negotiations, subpoena witnesses and evidence for your defense, conduct a trial and make objections, protect your record, appeal any convictions, and otherwise just work to protect you. All right, first offender and conditional discharge. These each allow you to enter a guilty plea without being convicted. You get one of each for your entire life. First offender is for everything but traffic-related charges, so no DUIs. Conditional discharge is for drug-related charges only. All right, nolo contendere. We call this a nolo plea for short. It's where you enter a guilty plea without admitting guilt on most traffic charges, no DUIs. You get one nolo every 5 years, and that's measured from the incident date to the incident date, ticket date to ticket date. The nolo will usually prevent points. It'll usually save your license. It won't help you much if you're under 21. All right, if you're here today and you're not a U.S. citizen, you need to know that any conviction will very likely have a negative impact on your immigration status. All right, family violence. Several of you are charged with family violence. It's in the title of your charge. If that is you and you are convicted of those charges, then you need to know that you'll lose your Georgia weapons carry permit. And federal law says you may never again possess a firearm or ammunition. All right, habeas corpus. So this is a weird old law that I'm responsible for explaining to you, and here's how it works. If you're convicted of these charges, you may sue Spalding County civilly over in Superior Court to challenge your conviction. The traffic charges have a 6-month window. Everything else in this courtroom has a 12-month window. Again, out of respect for the jurors and their time, you may ask for one last conference with the solicitor's office. I will stress to you that they are under no obligation to speak with you, and they have every right to say no thanks. The solicitor's office represents the state of Georgia. They are not your attorney. If you reach an agreement, you can resolve your case. And if you do not reach an agreement, then you must return to this courtroom here and for me to give you further instructions. I'm so sorry. Will somebody nudge the lady on the second row? Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got off work.
Okay. Well, I really do need you to pay attention. I know this doesn't have cat videos or cute things in it that keeps everybody's attention, but it is really important that you pay attention. So, all right. Thank you. If you're having trouble staying awake, I'll have you just stand up in the back, okay? All right. If you receive probation today, you'll be supervised by the Spalding County Sentence Enforcement. There's a one-time $25 intake fee per case. 100% of all fines can be worked off with community service work at $10 per hour. Now, there is a $50 per month supervision fee each month until you complete your probation. Now, this fee is mandatory, but it can be waived after a separate hearing before me. All right, so here's our procedure this week. All the bench trials and jury trials are together on this calendar. You had your calendar call 2 weeks ago, and then this is week 2. Everybody must appear in person each day to watch the other trials until your case is resolved. We will run 2 courtrooms this week, and we will reach your case for trial. All right, now, bench warrants have already been issued for a bunch of folks and will be issued for additional people who aren't here today. So we're a small enough community where everybody knows somebody who knows everybody. So if you recognize a name of someone who's missing, call them, tell them to get down here, and you'll definitely save them a great deal of future trouble. All right. You all were required to tell me if you had any speedy trial demands, any motions, or anything else I needed to factor into the trial of your case. If you did not notify me of that information, you have waived it. All pretrial matters must be heard on the first calendar they are scheduled on, or they are waived unless I specifically preserve it on the record in open court. All right, so I'm about to call the calendar. When you hear your name called, stand up. If you have an attorney, remain silent and let your attorney announce for you. Most of you here are represented by an attorney. If you do not have an attorney, then you're going to answer for yourself with one of the following. So jury trial, you're going to yell out bench trial or conference or attorney. And of course, remind me if you have any motions. All right, any housekeeping before we jump in?
No, sir, Judge, nothing from the state.
Okay. All right, here we go. Curtis Adams. Curtis Adams. All right, he's
Yeah,
here.
he's here. Judge, this will be one of 4 or 5 I got to sell on this morning. All right, this is the state versus, do you mind if I do that?
Okay, go ahead, please.
This is the state versus Curtis Adams. It's 22 SR 1589. It's Kayla Gatlin present. Kayla Gatlin. Judge, Miss Gatlin is the named victim in this case. We have actually been in contact with her, and she's indicated to my office that she does not wish to testify in this matter. She's also signed an affidavit to that effect, as she is the named victim and a necessary witness. Without her cooperation and testimony, we'll be unable to proceed with prosecuting this case.
All right. All right, Mr. Adams, go have a seat out in the hallway and wait for the bailiffs to come see you. Okay. All right, I'm printing the form. I'll sign it in a minute. All right, Timothy Anderson. Timothy Anderson.
That was a warrant already, Judge, from March 4th.
Yeah. Back to you, Mr. Malloy. Rodnikas Barlow. Barlow. No response.
That was a warrant from the 4th.
All right, that remains. Oh, this is one of the. Okay, Nikindrick Bell. All right, he's here.
So, Judge, we've tried to reach the victim in one of these cases. We've been unable to do so. We did not subpoena them, and this is one that was.
Yes.
We weren't expecting it to be on there. We'll request that we continue this, just to continue these together. In one of the cases, I think one of the victims does not wish to proceed, but the other case, we've been unable to reach the victim. It's a Vera Marie Dupree, I believe.
Okay. And for record purposes, just say it out loud. This case had a clerical error in that it was scheduled, but it was just mistakenly omitted from the calendar. We all relied on it and relied on the calendar. The state did not send out. And I said at the time that conferences would continue, but if either side requested a continuance for any reason, I would grant it. So the state is asking for it. Do y'all wish to have access to the record on that? Again, this is not a standard thing, just to say that out loud.
Your Honor, let's put a conference next to it since my mind is here.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and speak.
Oh, conference sounds great.
Yeah.
So,
Let's do a conference.
Your Honor, I would like to state, the state has known about this since the calendar call, so I'm.
Yeah,
that's why I wanted to give you access to the record if you.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking for, a conference. So.
Yeah.
We'll
So,
We might be able to resolve.
all right, well, let's just back it down to a conference then, and I'll address the continuance request when needed. You're good. Have a seat. Thank you. Stick around. And again, not a standard request. All right, Butler, Mr. Kendall, you here? That's you? All right. I think he has a conflict this morning.
Judge, I think he does, but I told him that I just anticipated sounding on this case.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think he would have an objection to it.
No, I don't. I'm sure Mr. Malloy and Mr. Charles would help out if need be, so.
So this is the state versus Anisia, I may not be pronouncing that right, Butler. It's 22 SR 2123. Is Tabitha Butler present? Tabitha Butler? Judge, Ms. Butler is the named victim in this case. The last information we had is that she is in custody in Florida on some felony charges. I don't know how current that information is, but that's the last we've heard about Ms. Butler. As she's a named victim in this case, she's a necessary party, and without her testimony, we'll be unable to proceed with prosecuting this case.
All right. And I'm going to pretend that Mr. Kendall was here and asked for dismissal, and I'm going to grant it. Okay. And here's Mr. Adams' dismissal as well. So if one of y'all will take a copy out there and give it to Mr. Adams, he's waiting out in the hallway. All right, that's page 1. All right, 2 cases. On this one, this is another one we're trying to figure out. Anthony Carter. It's Carter. All right, I've got 23 SR 931, which is on the calendar, and then you have that one that we kind of hitched to it and brought along, but it was not subpoenaed or anything, which is 22 SR 1690. All right, Mr. Shepherd.
Yes, sir. We can just, we can resolve those at this point.
Okay.
This is the state versus Anthony Carter. So 22 SR 1690 is Angel Duffy present. Angel Duffy. Just, do you still not wish to proceed? Okay. So Judge, we've spoken with Ms. Duffy in this matter. She's actually present this morning.
Yes.
But she has told us that she does not intend to testify against her son if called, as she is the named victim in this case. Without her testimony, we'll be unable to proceed with the prosecution.
Okay.
And the other case is 23 SR 931. Is Crystal Hendricks present? Crystal Hendricks. Judge, Ms. Hendricks is the named victim in this Mr. Carter's other case. We've attempted to reach her on numerous occasions and been unable to reach her at all. She is the named victim, so without her testimony and presence, we'll be unable to proceed with the prosecution.
Okay.
On behalf of Mr. Carter, we ask for dismissal.
All right. That is
For both
great.
cases.
Do you need to speak with your client?
We'll do it out in the hallway, yes.
All right. If you'll just wait out in the hallway, Mr. Carter. All right. Next case, Rodriguez Corbin. That's already a warrant. Corbin? No? All right, that remains. Derek Crawford?
Those are Mr. Diamond's cases.
Yes.
He has a conflict in for this morning, and so I just told him to just come on tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that'd be fine. All right. So that'd be 3:19 at 9 a.m. All right, Tanisha Davis.
Conference, Your Honor.
All right.
And that one's on for trial.
Okay.
Your Honor, we're gonna ask for continuance on that one also.
All right. I'm gonna put y'all down for a conference.
Yeah.
Y'all go talk and then let me know. All right. That's Tanisha Davis. Chimeria Dennis.
Here.
All right. Perfect.
Okay, this one. Could I know? All right, this is State versus Chimera Dennis, 22 SR 1895. Is Derek Epps present? Derek Epps. Judge, Mr. Epps is the victim in this case of the simple battery, the disorderly conduct. He's also the only witness of the theft by taking. We've attempted to reach him numerous methods over the last couple of weeks. Calls, emails, sending a subpoena, also running him through our people search system. We've been unable to find any kind of valid current contact information for Mr. Epps. So without him being present to testify, we can't proceed with this prosecution.
All right. Got a motion, Mr. Malloy?
Yes, Your Honor, move for the case to be dismissed for lack of prosecution.
All right. That's granted. All right. DeMorris Dennis. Dennis. All right. That's already a warrant.
Yes.
All right, Eddie Dennis. I have a weird mark on this one. I have an all-pros, but I don't show that I signed it. I might have. It just doesn't mean. It might just mean I didn't keep
I
up
think
with
there
it.
was another case, Judge, that was one of those, buy one, get one free kind of.
Yes, we'd like dismiss one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we did. Yeah, I've got Nile Prospect next to mine.
Okay. Well, we'll circle back to it. We don't have to solve it now, but he's not here, I assume. And I was going to say that I felt like that. I didn't expect to see him because I felt like I had messed up something in my trackings here.
Yeah, Judge, it's supposed to be Nile Prospect.
Okay.
If we didn't do one, if one didn't get filed, but that was the intention. He pled to,
All right.
he
Erica,
pled
if
to
you
the
don't
second
mind checking
case, and
that.
this one was dismissed.
Okay.
Would the court want to put on the record the case he did speak to?
Yeah, I thought that's what we would do is come back. Do you have that number?
Yes, Your Honor, 22 SR 2402.
That's correct.
Okay. So that's the one he pled to. Okay.
That was a DUI. Yes, sir.
All right, that'll work. All right, next one is Emery. Oh, he left. Emery. There you are. You moved. Emery Dennis.
We have a plea we're ready to enter.
Okay. So if you'll give that to the bailiffs, they'll put everything together for you. Miss Margaret over there in the corner, Mr. Wayne, and I'll take it before I leave the bench.
You want that
Or
to go to Judge?
actually, I will do that. So I'll actually send you down to the first floor in a little bit and have you enter that plea with Judge Essery. Isaiah Duncan, that's yours, Mr. Malloy. Duncan is here. You can have a seat. Thank you.
That's on for trial this afternoon.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna put that y'all, I assume y'all are continuing negotiations. He's got 3 cases, right?
Yes, Judge. Which one are you going with?
The DUI.
Okay. 1533.
Yes, yeah, 1533.
Okay. All right. Hawkins was the gentleman who was virtual. Is Inaldo Hawkins present? He's here. Okay.
That one's on for trial.
All right. All right. Brandon Lewis. He was already a warrant. Mr. Martin. I was not expecting Mr. Martin here today. Okay. Brandon Hightower just remains a warrant. All right. Amber. I show Amber Hort says a warrant. She's in the system, so no bond forfeiture. Everybody good on that? All right. Sonia Hosley. All right. I show she's already a warrant. All right. This one's here, or should be. Rayana Johnson. She's here. All right. Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
That one's on for trial.
Okay.
What day you do that?
Tomorrow, it'll be after I finish Duncan.
Okay.
All right. Tina Lewis. No?
That was already a warrant.
Yes. All right. So that stands. That's page 5. Brandon Loudermilk.
Yep.
All right. I show that's a trial.
It's, if I can say on
Okay.
Judge, I think we can resolve it. This is Brandon Loudermilk, 22 SR 1524. Is Natasha Morris present?
She's there.
Yes, Judge. We've attempted to reach Ms. Morris on this case. She apparently has moved out of state. We've been unable to reach her or get her here to testify. It's a reckless conduct, but she was the witness to the alleged reckless conduct. So without her presence and testimony, we'll be unable to proceed.
Okay. All right. Mr. Loudermilk, step out in the hallway, have a seat on the benches out there and wait for the bailiffs. All right. Elise Newman. All right. Newman.
Yeah, we're ready for a trial on that.
All right, Miss Newman, sit tight.
Excuse me, sir. Hey, I was confused. I had applied for the defender at the jail, and when I went to see them, they said that it's automatically dismissed when I bonded out. I didn't know that.
Well, you and I will talk in a little bit. You sit tight. All right, grab a seat. I'll come back to you. I'll address all your concerns. I just got to finish this calendar first. All right, Mr. Dutton Osborne.
Yeah, we're gonna sound it.
Okay.
This would be, I believe, the last one. No, we got one more. All right, this is the State versus Jake Osborne, 23 SR 1044. Is Leanne Osborne present? Leanne Osborne? Do you still not wish to testify? Is it still your decision not to testify? No. So Judge, we've been in contact with Ms. Osborne on this. She's the named victim in the case. She's the mother of the defendant. She's indicated to my office and just now that she does not intend to testify against her son if called, so we'll be able to proceed.
All right. Mr. Dutton, you got a motion?
Well, Your Honor, first, just to put on the record that there are some allegations of some substance abuse here, and I've let my client know that this sort of action by the state can be taken even without the victim if they deemed it so necessary. And so I advised him to do his best to stay away from any further interactions that might bring him in contact with the criminal justice system or substances. That said, we would, in this case, motion for dismissal.
All right. If you'll come around and get this, give it to Miss Erica, and then your client can meet you. Mr. Osborne, where are you? All right. Step out in the hallway and wait for your attorney. Get Erica. All right, Mr. Hutchison, over to you. Douglas Pullum. I show plea in absentia.
It's supposed to be, we got, get back to work this morning, just need to present it to them, Patrick and I both signed off on it, so.
Okay, I'm sure we'll get that sorted out today. So. All right, Benjamin Reese. Benjamin Reese. No? That's right, I saw you talking. I stopped. Pullum he said he has, and y'all are gonna talk and get
Yeah, I'll
that.
sign off on it. We both sign it.
Perfect. Benjamin Reese did not answer. He was already a warrant.
Okay, yes.
And then Salter was a plea of absentia, but I think that one's already completed.
Those are pre-trial diversion.
Oh, pre-trial version.
It has been.
My handwriting is horrific. And I'm not even a doctor. All right, Brandon Sims. He's here.
All right, this is the last one. And this is State versus Brandon Sims, 22 SR 1102. It's Jasmine Driver present. Jasmine Driver. Judge Miss Driver is the named victim in this matter. We have been unable to reach her by phone, email, subpoena, sending victim notices to her last known address, and running her through our person search. Since we've not been able to contact her and secure her presence and testimony, we've been able to proceed with this prosecution.
All right, Mr. Malloy.
On behalf of Mr. Sims, we move for the case to be dismissed.
That's granted. All right, if you'll let Erica stamp that in. Mr. Sims, wait out in the hallway for your attorneys to come out and speak with you. All right, Adrian Taylor. I showed that something had a medical emergency and was going to walk in 318. That's all I have.
That's what I had to.
Oh, you're back there waving at me. I can't do anything about the column except put a TV on
Two
it.
pleaded, yeah, because he was on.
Oh, okay, yes, right, Judge. When he came in before, he had just had an incident, so he was here that day.
He was medicated.
He was heavily medicated.
Ah,
so
okay.
We couldn't go forward at the time.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, y'all just let me know what you need.
Yes, sir.
All right, Michael Tamarchio, Mr. Joyner had a conflict. We told him to come in tomorrow morning.
Judge, I've actually spoken
Oh, okay,
since then on this with Mr. Joyner. This case is going to be dead docketed.
okay.
I've got a dead docket order.
All right. All right, well, Mr. Joyner doesn't need to come down tomorrow.
Yes, we've communicated that.
Great, thank you for that. And I appreciate, again, how well y'all organize the defense bar through our system so we have them come and go. Okay, Jonas Warnock. I show
That one pled on the 13th.
that one played on the 13th. Okay,
Yes. What Judge is?
perfect. And then I show Kiana Watts as pretrial intervention on both cases with
Yeah.
Alan Whitecap.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to mark all three of those off. All right, so a couple of announcements. Are there any witnesses who are subpoenaed to be here today who are not addressed? Witnesses subpoenaed to be here? Oh, that's okay on your case. Okay,
It was, what's your name? Okay.
yeah. And then I have a hand in the back. Yeah. All right, the state will talk to you in just a second. Blue shirt, black jacket, and back row, very back, back wall. All right, so we'll get y'all sorted out. All right, any defendants whose names were not called? Any defendants whose names were not called? All right. So Judge Esther, I'm going to send a couple of pleas down to you. So if you want to wander down to the first floor, while I sort out whatever's left. All right.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
I'm here on Brandon Hightower, 21 SR 2414 field.
Yes. And come on up. All right, so we'll put on the record that we talked through a lot of odds and ends with Mr. Martin about his client. As it sits now, it is a warrant, a bench warrant. The moment Mr. Martin can find his client, he's going to let us know. The moment we find his client, we'll let him know, because we may have other options other than just holding him in the jail to get his case resolved. So does that sound about right, Mr. Martin?
Yes, it does, Judge.
Okay, perfect. Well, the moment you find him, let us know, and it's always a pleasure to have you down here.
You too as well. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. You're free to go.
Thank you. Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna let Judge answer. I'm going. Okay, I have the Fulham paperwork here. Okay, this looks great.
It should look good, Judge. It's yours.
I mean, the form does look very familiar. So, okay, Mr. Hutchinson, I'm gonna hand this back to you. I've signed it.
Yes, sir.
If you'll, I don't.
The process till I get to probation, till I get to bailiffs.
All right, Mr. Shepherd, is there any other housekeeping that you need from me for this moment while we give y'all a few minutes to talk?
No, Judge, I was just gonna ask you if you could take a break for a little while, let us and the public defenders sit down.
I agree. Why don't we do this? Judge Esther is going to take that, take the pleas that are ready. I still have this virtual plea that still isn't shown back up. Robinson, I think it's from arraignment, so I'm just saying out loud.
Yeah, she was the one I spoke to, and then she said she couldn't log back on for some reason.
Apparently, she could never log back on, so it's been a week now. So.
Yep.
All right, well then, I'm gonna step off the bench. I'm gonna say I'm gonna come back on the bench at 11, or when y'all knock on my door. And so that way the latest I'll come out as 11, and I'll deal with whatever's with public defender's office. And Judge Essery, once we do that, we'll talk at 11 and kind of figure out who to send where. And if any pleas are worked out between here and there, you can just send down to Judge Essery and take it. Okay, all right. Everybody else, here's your instructions. You ready? We're all human. Oh, I need to talk to that lady. Okay, y'all can go ahead and go. I've got to talk to the lady who had questions. Raise your right hand, ma'am. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, state your full name.
Alice Francine Newman.
All right, Ms. Newman, you're here on page 6, 23 SR 1251, charged with simple battery, family violence, and terroristic threats. When I called your name this morning, counter call, you started talking kind of fast. So what I did was I just said that you and I would have this conversation now, and that let me get everybody else moving out the door. What was your question that you needed me to answer?
When I went to the public defenders, they said I should ask for a continuance to give them time to look at my case.
Okay.
I thought I had applied, but they said when I bonded out, it nulled it or avoided it or something.
All right, so let's talk through your dates here.
Yes.
So on this case, 23 SR 1251, it looks like you were arrested a little bit ago here. Give me just a second. There we go. It looks like you were arrested back on August 6th of 2023. So
Yes, sir.
a good several months ago.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you were arrested, you were given a application from the public defender's office at the jail,
Yes, sir.
and you're saying you filled it out.
I believe I did. Yes, sir.
All right. And then did you follow up on it after getting out of jail?
No, I didn't get any letters or anything. I was confused about what was going on.
Okay. And then moving forward to, looks like you had an arraignment with me maybe back in December. Does that sound correct?
Arraignment. That was just.
Your court date, your court date with me back in December? Does that sound correct?
I think.
I'm going to put a
Yes,
document
yes,
up on
sir.
the wall here that I want you to look at and tell me if it looks familiar to you.
Okay.
All right, can you see that document I've put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Is that your name?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Ah, okay. I see that now.
That was the flu. Yes, I remember that. I had the flu and pneumonia. I remember.
So you haven't actually been in court with me yet? Is
No,
that-
sir.
Okay. Did you sign this document and were released?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this little initial here, and you took a copy of this with you when you left?
Yes, sir.
And when did you reach out to the public defender's office, according to the directions it gave you here, that we have in the middle of the screen?
I reached out to him when I was at the jail when they arrested me, and then I filled out the application, and then I didn't know what to do, so I reached out to him last week after I pled, or the week. I think it was last week
Okay.
when we came here the other week.
What about between December 4th and last week? What did you do? Because
Nothing.
that's a pretty
Yes, sir.
decent amount of time from December 4th to now.
Well, I wasn't sure how the process worked. I haven't heard anything since I applied at the application at the jail, so
Okay.
I didn't have an attorney, so I'm on disability, and
I'm going to lean back on you a little bit here.
Yes,
It
sir.
says on that document, it is my responsibility to hire an attorney or apply for the public defender's office ASAP. The public defender's office is located at 126 North Hill Street, Griffin, Georgia 30223. And then it gives their number. It's 678-688-8296. So when you say you were confused about what you should do to get a public defender's office, what is confusing about that statement?
because I had already applied at the jail for the public offenders, and I didn't know that me bonding out. They explained it to me when I went to talk to them last week to see
Okay.
what was going on. I didn't understand. I didn't realize it was going to be null and void when I bonded out. I don't know.
Okay. But
Yes,
when
sir.
when this was addressed to you in writing on December 4th, did you not realize that you had obligations you needed to take care of?
Sir, I have, I get disability because of my severe depression, anxiety, and I have other mental issues like,
Okay.
and
All right.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. All right. You can go have a seat. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we're all human. We've all had coffee. Most of us have had coffee. Step to the restroom. Get back to your seats. If you disappear today and I call your name and you don't answer, I'm going to issue a warrant for you. I'm going to release the state's witnesses, and then you will just sit out in jail until the next court date. That sounds harsh, but frankly, I have a problem with people, I don't know, just wandering off. And that's the solution that I've had to come up with that. So I'm going to come back on the bench at either 11 or when somebody lets me know something's ready. If you work out a plea with the state in the meantime, then Judge Esser will take the plea down there. With that said, I'm going to hand the courtroom over to the bailiffs. They've got it. If you need anything, speak with them. We're in recess until 11 a.m. Okay, so, Mr. Shepherd is probably somewhere close. Can anybody tell me what, about Judge Esri and kind of where he's at and what they're,
I just took one plea down there, Judge, that's the only, the only plea that we had,
okay.
so that's been completed.
So if he's all finished, we should let him know and come up for calendar call, and we'll call the calendar again, figure out what we have. I think y'all said there's been a lot of movement since